mentioned, Ja Morant will be speaking live with reporters. We will bring you that as it comes in. But we're going to start with the Sixers and the Bulls because the 76ers' 8-game winning streak, it was snapped last night. But it took 2 overtimes to do it. So let's head there now. The Sixers hosting the Bulls. Joel Embiid, here's a fun fact for you, Chiney. He is the first player in Sixers history with 10 straight 30-point games. Wow. He joined Shaq as the second player in the shot clock era to do this on 50% shooting.
A lot of Sixers legends, so that's some real history right there.
Absolutely. I mentioned this took 2 overtimes, so let's pick it up in the first. 45 seconds to play. The Bulls down by 1 at this point. DeMar DeRozan, usually the lone mid-ranger, not this time. Drives all the way to the hoop, gets it to go, ties it at 99. And then on the other end here, James Harden. He loses the ball here. DeMar DeRozan rips it from him. He struggled a little bit in this one. 5 points and 5 turnovers. The game would go to double overtime. Remember how important I mentioned Joel Embiid is? Well, he's on the bench here after fouling out. So the Bulls are down by 4 at this point. DeMar DeRozan, once again, drives in, gets the layup to go. The Bulls down by 2. And then this is the next Bulls possession here. DeRozan going to work. A little up and under action. And the foul. So a pair of Bulls free throws puts the Sixers down by 2 at this point. 18 seconds to play. James Harden going to work, floats it out. Derrick Jones Jr. rejects it. Tobias Harris gets a look, can't quite get it to fall. The Bulls win 109-105. Let's take a listen to head coach Doc Rivers on James Harden after the game.
He just didn't play well. I don't think it's them, at least not tonight. I thought he was hurting a little bit. I thought our pace was so slow, a lot of late clock possessions. And, you know, when we've done that this year, typically we have not won the game. Or if we've won the game, it's been like tonight where it comes down to the end. But that's not how we want to play.
So James Harden, he's averaging 20 points, 10 assists per game for the 4th time in his career. Only Russell Westbrook and Oscar Robertson have done so more often. Zach Lowe, we talked a little bit about the 76ers yesterday, but I know you've been high on them recently. Their win streak is over. But over the course of it, 8 games, what did we learn?
Well, Joel Embiid is having the best offensive season of his career, and it's frankly almost not even close. He's shooting 55% from the floor, 58% on twos. You can't stop him anymore. The 13-foot jumper is automatic. Last night we learned, I think, what we all suspected, though. This team will go as far as James Harden and Joel Embiid can take them together. Embiid is there every game. When James Harden goes 2 of 14 with 5 turnovers, they're not going to win, and they're going to need him to be consistently good, maybe not great, but good in the playoffs. Can I just shout out the Bulls real quick?
Oh, yes.
We're not going to talk about the Bulls. The Bulls are 5th in defense in the NBA. When they built a team around DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic, and Levine, you couldn't imagine they'd be 5th in defense. Right. Shout out to the Bulls. They should have more wins if they're 5th in defense.
And also shout out to DeMar DeRozan because he said we are fighting for our life every day. This is the moment when games really matter for teams. The Bulls are currently, I believe, 10th, which means they're in the play-in. They want to move their way up, and so that they had the stiff competition of Joel Embiid and James Harden. And I guess what you saw was a lot of game plans. Like, all right, how are we going to disrupt James Harden, who's the distributor to Joel Embiid? And you mentioned it, 2 for 14. That's not good enough for an offense that has really solidified themselves around those two, that dynamic duo in Philly.
Not to mention, you know, he played, 47 minutes, dealing with a little bit of foot soreness, and that's never good. We don't want to hear that. Perk, what have you learned about these 76ers?
Well, we talk about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. We talk about Kyrie Irving and Luka, Clay and Steph, and all the top duos around the league. But what I learned about the 76ers is that they have the best damn duo in the league when it comes down to Joel Embiid and James Harden. And we're watching Joel Embiid go on a tear offensively. And yes, he has the skill set for us being able to put the ball in the basket. But let's talk about the guy who's leading the league in assists in James Harden. Let's talk about how many easy looks Joel Embiid get, whether it's from the 13 from the midi area, like Chiney would say, or rolls to the basket for dunks. So when I look at what they've been doing over this 8-game span, and I look at the other duos around the league that have been struggling and their team have been losing, including the Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid and James Harden right now today are the best duo in the game of basketball.
Best duo in the game of basketball. Zach?
I mean, look, I think in the playoffs I'm still going Tatum and Brown, but it's close, and he's right. The chemistry between those two is exactly what Daryl Morey envisioned when he traded Ben Simmons and everything else for James Harden, when he hunted James Harden for 2 years. And Joel Embiid, part of the reason he's having the best offensive season of his career is he's being set up for 4, 5, 6 easier buckets than he was getting in prior years, and that's because James Harden is leading the league in assists.
Performance of the night potentially goes to Julius Randle. The Knicks hosting the Timberwolves in this one, Chiney. I want to pick it up, though, in the third quarter. The Knicks down 11. They need every single one of these points from Julius Randle.
This was a night where it's like, okay, he might actually touch 60. I mean, when he's shooting the ball this confidently, you know, especially from three, that he's feeling himself.
He was feeling himself, and it did not let up. Look at this.
He's herky-jerky, but it works to his advantage, and look at that. Get off me, bro. Hits the mid-range.
He hits the mid-range, and then here later in the third, Randle, he stays hot.
When someone dribbles that much, send the double, Malika.
52 points after 3 quarters, had 26 in the third quarter, the most in a quarter in Knicks history. But 2 minutes left here. Timberwolves up by 1 now after some free throws. Taurean Prince was on a heater of his own, Zach.
Unsung hero for Minnesota this year. Everyone's always hurt there, here, in and out, and he's been one of the constant sort of gap fillers for them.
Taurean Prince, 8 of 8 from three-point land. Anthony Edwards was feeling that as well. But then on the other hand, Julius Randle, he did not let up, Chiney.
I mean, and one son, but watch this right here. Randle gets the ball. Oh, no. That was an opportunity.
Slow-mo.
That was an opportunity.
So despite the fact that Julius Randle was pushing 60, as you said, Taurean Prince kept coming, and the New York Knicks just can't quite get this done. You can see Julius Randle frustrated at this point when you throw the ball automatically. Some frustration bleeds over for Julius Randle as he heads to the bench there, still chatting with the refs. And the Knicks fall to Minnesota 140-134. So I guess when you're looking at this style of play, Randle took more shots, Chiney, than the rest of the starters combined. And every single one of his points was needed. But when we're looking at the postseason, which is where success is measured for the New York Knicks at this point, can they win with this style of play?
I think a lot of people have questions about the Knicks just because this style of play suits more so the regular season, that, grind of an defense and all that type of stuff. But I think this matchup is actually more about the Timberwolves than it is about the Knicks. It was a great performance by Julius Randle, but I believe the Timberwolves had 7 guys in double figures. You're talking about a team that's just about to get their star players back, right? And you have guys like Conley going for 24 and 11, and then everyone else sort of stepping and rounding into form. I feel like the Timberwolves were a team that we had great expectations at the start of the year.
Zach did.
Yeah.
Zach was talking about how this would be the most important stretch for them
in the West. And then now it looks like, okay, people seem to be a little bit more comfortable. Yes, it will be different to acclimate your stars back, but maybe this is a team that is playing their better basketball at the best time possibly.
We'll see. They got to reintegrate a big piece in Karl Anthony Towns pretty soon, and that didn't go so well at the beginning of the season. Anthony Edwards, that's an easy. The Knicks are a battering ram. The Knicks just get to the paint, they get to the line, they get to the glass. It's not pretty, it's not sexy, it's not fancy, but it works. They've been a top 6 or 7 offense for most of the season, but when Julius Randle is cooking like that, I do get little shakes, flashbacks to the playoffs 2 seasons ago. When the gas on the stove when he was cooking stopped working and all the jumpers turned into misses. Here's what's different this year, though. They have Jalen Brunson. They have a deeper and better team with Emmanuel Quickley and Josh Hart coming off the bench. They have more places they can go if those mid-range step backs and all those off-the-dribble jumpers aren't going in. Because, look, those get harder in the playoffs. The defenses are better.
Perk, I know you're watching Mitchell Robinson. Why?
And I was looking down at my phone to look at his box scores because I was looking at his minutes last night. He played 28 minutes. He had 0 points and 9 rebounds. And look, I'm not worried about his points. I'm worried about his mentality, right? And if the Knicks are going to advance and make a run in the postseason, they're going to have to get the best version of Mitchell Robinson. He's going to have to go up against an Evan Mobley and a Jared Allen. He's going to have to battle against a Brook Lopez and a Giannis Antetokounmpo and a Bobby Portis. He's going to have to probably go against a Robert Williams and a Joel Embiid. And so my thing is with him is that he has to be the best version of himself that fits best for this team. And that's a guy that's going to attack the boards on both ends of the floor, that's going to anchor the defense, that's going to be talking, communicating, being able to switch out, being able to be in the drop coverage. He's going to have to be that guy to do that. And I see time and time again, well, actually, when things get tight, Tom Thibodeau tend to go away from him late in the fourth quarter. And so he has to get his mind right and get on the same page with Tibbs and let Tibbs start to trust him.
Well, he's going to have his hands full tomorrow with Bam Adebayo as the Knicks look to bounce back.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.